What's up, everyone? Jason Gilbo here at JGilbo11. Taking a look at some stacks for tonight's slate. Got a good one here. 9 games, a lot of strong pitching on the hill. There are some expensive stacks, but we also get some of these guys who are mixed in and out of value. Definitely some good hitting environments. We don't have Coors, but we do have Miller Park. We do have Chase Field, which are two areas you can certainly look at tonight. Looking at Texas here first. Luis Perdomo is certainly not a bad pitcher. He does roll a lot of ground balls. The hard contact to lefties is a big red flag for me going up against the Texas team, 39% in his career. Has definitely struggled with left-handers, 372 WOBA allowed, 333 to right-handers. With that being said, you have guys like Odor, Mazzara, Joey Gallo, Joey Gallo I much prefer over on DraftKings at 3,700 compared to 3.8 on FanDuel. But with that being said, I mean, Donald Shields has been hitting well lead off. He's a cheap bat in the outfield tonight that I don't mind. Perdomo's not going to miss a ton of bats, but Texas might help him out in that direction. Good ballpark. Texas is a 5-run total. Texas is probably not a good cash game stack for me tonight. I still think it's relatively risky against Perdomo, who, like I said, I mean, he's not a bad pitcher. He does roll a lot of ground balls, but the noticeable issues with lefties gives him a chance. The fact that he doesn't have the cleanest of numbers against right-handers is still an issue. And Texas is still a team with a lot of power, being back in this ballpark where they have hit well before. I do think they're a reasonable stack, and they're a cheap stack. I mean, your only guy over over 3,800 on DraftKings is Odor at 43. FanDuel, I mean, your only guy over 3,200 is Joey Gallo. So you have Carlos Gomez as well you can throw in there, depending on what they do with that lineup. I'll certainly be looking at the Rangers stack with that upside just being back in that ballpark. But if you're looking for kind of safer stacks, Milwaukee's certainly going to be a popular one tonight going up against Kyle Kendrick. We could talk about both sides of this game, but Kyle Kendrick, 6 earned runs in his 4 innings in his 2017 debut. Just about what you're going to get out of him moving forward. Going back to last season, a 413 WOBA to lefties, 374 WOBA to right-handers. He'll have 33 home runs in that season. Milwaukee is a team that, struggles against pitchers who miss a ton of bats, who are wild. Kendrick is not that. 5.8% swinging strike rate in the first outing. Back to the 2015 season, 6.4%. VR's at a decent price on both sides due to his struggles. I like him a ton. Eric Thames back with the power. Ryan Braun's obviously in a good spot here. He's an expensive one. The rest of these guys, I mean, if you're paying up on the hill, which you should be, you might have to choose Thames or Braun and maybe get someone else to get Domingo Santana, Jet Bandy, Pino, who's ever behind the dish. I mean, you can venture off into this back half of the lineup for the Brewers and still kind of get a stack in there because Thames and Braun are expensive if you are kind of trying to fit in a Darvish or an Archer tonight. So it's one thing to note with them, but definitely a ton of upside in that ballpark against Kendrick. On the other side of things, Chase Anderson going up against the Red Sox. Sox got going here and there. I mean, mostly it was the Mookie Betts show. I don't like Bogarts hitting third. I don't like Pedroia hitting second. I think Mookie Betts, Benintendi, Moreland, or Hanley, who's ever at first. JBJ's back in the lineup. I think those guys are more intriguing. So it might be just one of those ones where it's more one-offs, two-offs based on the lineup, unless they do something weird again. But I just don't like Bogarts. The upside for the price is just not really there for me against a right-handed pitcher, and even though Anderson's reverse splits. But I love Benintendi. I love Mookie Betts tonight. Depending on the first base situation, you can go back to the well there. So it's just more of a lineup situation with the Red Sox, but they definitely have one of the higher team totals as well. Moving over to Chase Field, good spot here for both teams, but liking the Tigers tonight. Ian Kinsler was a late scratch. He's been dealing with an injury issue, may or may not be back in the lineup, but even if he's not, I'm fine with his team. Tyler Collins, Miguel Cabrera, Nick Castellanos, Justin Upton, all reasonably priced. I mean, Upton's 4.2 on DK. Miggy's only 4.4. I mean, you got Collins there for value. Castellanos, definitely overpriced on FanDuel, 3,800 though on DK. So definitely a good DK stack. As for both of these teams, Diamondbacks are always continuously cheap on DraftKings. We'll talk about their right-handed bats. But for the most part, I mean, Chase Field, very friendly. You look at Golly, he's always struggled here, 6.44 ERA in his career, 386 WOBA. His splits against both sides are pretty neutral, 346 WOBA to lefties, 337 to righties. You look at this Tigers team, I mean, 43.6% hard contact rate. That's phenomenal. They hit the ball absolutely hard. Just nubbed him back in his little stomping ground, had a home run last night. Look at this Tigers team. I mean, definitely one of the friendlier team totals on the slate. Then we look at the other side of this one. You're getting that boy who's been an up and down left-hander in his career. AJ Pollock, Yasmani Tomas, Chris Owings, Paul Goldschmidt, of course, are all in play. You look at Boyd, I mean, over his career, fairly average. I mean, it does toss in a good start every now and then. This season, I mean, allowing a 322 WOBA to right-handers, but in his career, 350 WOBA allowed. Home runs could be an issue as well, 1.75 home runs per 9. Hard contact, 34%. He's a fly ball pitcher. Those things do not bode well for Chase Field. So I'll definitely be looking at an Arizona stack at their prices, especially on DraftKings. But even FanDuel, I mean, I don't mind the Owings play. Tomas is reasonably priced, but Pollock and Goldie are a bit expensive. So, but loving them. That's about it. I mean, other guys, we saw Washington moving back to a less friendlier environment. I definitely prefer these 5 if I'm looking at anything tonight. So let's wrap things up. You can head over to fantasycafe.com, check out great tools and content.